In this video, I'll walk you through the interface and tools available in Adobe Character Animator. Now, the moment you have it open, you're going to see this home screen. Okay. Now, on the home screen, you can decide to create a new project, or you can go to the File option and create a new project that you can right there, and then you can give it any name, and then you can actually save. Okay. Now, the project is going to be in Adobe and then Character Animator. So that's going to be the location of the project that you are going to create. Now, I'll advise you not to change from that default location I will advise you not to change this default location. So do well to maintain it. All right. Now, you can open an existing project. Now you can see that this is a project that we are currently working on. So you can come over here, click on open, and then locate where that project is around this repository. Okay, so this is basically the start area. So here you can use any pre-built Puppet templates to start working on, or you can use the one that you created using Adobe Photoshop or Illustrator. Okay. Now, here are the number of the pre-built template that Adobe Character made it available for you to use. Okay. Now this is free to use, so you can use it for both commercial and for personal use. Okay. Now I'm going to click on this head. Okay. Now, having clicked on this head, you will notice that you can no longer see the home screen, and that's because it has moved from the home screen to the record workspace. Okay, so this is where you're going to perform your live actions and performance capture. Okay, now you can see that there are lots of information here. So starting with the project. Okay, so all the artwork or the puppets you're going to be working with, you're going to have them added here. And once you've added them here, you can just simply click on it and then wait for it to load. So you can see this is clone one of the templates. So I'm actually switching here to another. Okay, and then we can switch to different artwork or puppets that you have by simply clicking on it. Okay, so these are just a number of puppets that I have in this particular project. Okay, now what you will notice is that based on the icon, it defines what kind of file that you have here. So this is basically audio files or dialogue that I recorded. Okay, and then this denote that this is a puppet. Okay, with this icon beside it, and then these are your records. Okay, so if you click on this, it's going to take you back to the record workspace. Okay, so here it's the record for this particular puppet. Now you can go back to the rig by clicking here, or you can simply go to Window and you can change the workspace from rig and then back to home, or you can just make use of these tabs here. So this will take you back to rig, and this is record, and then you have the stream. Okay, so in the rig tab, these are your So under the rig option, we have all these listed in the project panel. Okay, and now there is this thing called triggers. So we're going to see how that works in subsequent videos. You can see it. You can see them listed here, and then you have controls as well. So I can press A and then D for a different trigger. So if I press D, the character is going to work right. if I press A, the character is going to walk back, right? Now this is your, so here in the puppet panel, you can see the structure of your puppet, okay? So these are basically some icons that was added. So I can just toggle them on. So here they are. This is just an icon, alright? It's just a still image. Alright, now this is the major puppet itself, okay? Now you can see how it's arranged. Alright, so you have the right quarter. So basically, it's just how the character is positioned. So this is not frontal. This is more or less the character standing on the right quarter, and it's not right profile. Okay, so this is just a name. Now, this right quarter, what it means is the way your character, the angle at which your character is currently standing. So it's not completely, it's not a complete full right profile. It is rather right quarter. So it's basically so right quarter basically that's so the right quarter, what it means is the way your character is standing on the right, alright? So it's just a name you give, okay? So it can be left quarter, so it means the character is going to point in the left direction, okay? So the right arm, so this is the right arm of the character, then I can drag it, move it around, so the arm is independent of the body, okay? And then you have the head. So I believe the head is actually independent. So you can see this is the head of our character. So you have the right leg, you have the torso over, you have the hips, and then you have the shirt, the torso, under, okay, and then you have the left leg. So I can equally drag this like so, okay. Now at the beginner's level, this character it's a bit ambiguous. So let's look for a more simpler character. So to do that, we'll go back to the home screen, and then I'm going to add chat. Okay, now the chart has been added, I'll go back to read. Now this is a bit simpler than what we had earlier. So you can see the structure. So we're going to see this now in the software that this was created in. Okay, now currently we are in Character Animator. So if you want to know which software this character was designed in, you're going to go back to the character itself where it was added. So this is Chad. Okay, so having selected this, you can see where it says edit original. So this character was done in Adobe Photoshop. So I'm going to click on that. Alright, so this is the character open in the original program that was used to design it. Okay, and then you can see how it is structured. Okay, so the way it is structured, it's very, very important for Character Animator to be able to make use of your puppet. Okay, so do well to follow the convention in order for you not to run into any issue. Okay, so you can see how this is structured. So this is just one single folder. So if you open the folder, you now have the head. So remember, this character doesn't have any body, so far it's just the head. So inside the head, we have tons of other information. So you have this left eyebrow, you have the right, you have the nose, you have the mouth, okay? And take note, the mouth is in different reasons. So the mouth is basically in different reasons. So you can see this is the neutral or the default state. So if I toggle that off, I can toggle another one on. Okay, so different mouth shapes, and that is actually packed in a folder. Okay, so the plus sign beside all of this means that these are all independent. Okay, so you are telling character animator that you want this you are telling character animator to treat this as an independent component or an independent part. Alright, so you have the right eye. Okay, so if you fail to add the plus sign, this is going to move alongside. When you are moving the head, it's going to move alongside the head. So basically, with this plus sign, Adobe Character Animator is going to treat each of these layers as an independent component or an independent part of the character. Okay, so these are basically the structure, and then you have the background. Okay, now I'm going to minimize this. So back here you can see that it's the same structure that we just looked at. So let's pick a different puppets now. For this time around, I'm going to pick Claude. I'm going to go back to Rick. Okay, so I'll come to the top, then to Claude. This is Claude, and then I'll click on Photoshop. Okay, now this is my character. Now this is the head, and then you have the body. Okay, so you can see the structure of this is just slightly different from what we had before, but it's just an addition, which is the body. Now if you go back, you can see it's basically the same thing. So this is the head and this is shard. Alright, so here we have the head, we have the body, and then we have this. So remember to follow this convention when you're creating your very first puppet. So now if you open up the body, you're going to see that there is the right arm, okay, which is this. Let's undo that. The right arm. So if I want to move this together in Photoshop, I'm going to hold down the Control key so that I can actually move this folder. I'm going to undo. Now you have the left arm. So remember, if you have this folder selected, hold down the Control key so that everything can actually move together. Okay, and then you have the left leg. So remember what I told you about the plus sign. Now the essence is so that you can actually control this independently in Character Animator, and even so that the program will recognize this as an independent part of the body so that it can move freely without any form of interference from the body. Okay, now this is basically how you are supposed to structure your character or your puppet in Adobe Character Animator. So remember what I told you, that structuring is very essential. So you can see all of this. Now this crown, what the crown denotes is all that anyone that has the plus sign is automatically going to have the crown. But if I fail to add the plus sign, I can come to Character Animator and do that here. So like this one, I can, since this is toggled off, I can just click. Now this is an independent layer, okay? Even though it's not going to reflect in Photoshop, but then in Character Animator will treat this as an independent layer. So that's what the crown means. Like each of these, they are basically independent, okay? Now on the right hand side, you have this, okay? Now these are what you will refer to as tags. So these are something we're going to look at in detail in subsequent videos. But for now, this is a way Adobe Character Animator recognize the different parts of the body. Alright, so if we go to the right arm, which is this, you can see all these different tools that were added from this option here. So this is your different tools that you have. So this is your handle tool, this is your stick tool, this is your pin tool, this is your dragger tool, and then you have your dangle tool. Okay, so it was from here that all these were added. Okay, so this is basically your handle tool, and then this is your stick tool. Okay, so for this one here, particular tool, once you add this tool, it means you're going to come over here and add this pin, and then once this, you're going to add this. So these are something we're going to look at in a subsequent video, because this video is basically more or less an overview. Okay, but then this is basically your tags. Okay, so and then these are the different functionality that you can add to your character. So you can see under physics we have dangle, and then we have magnets and the likes of them. Okay, so here we talked about triggers earlier. So you can see how many triggers that was set up here. So if you want to see this trigger in action, it means you have to go to the record mode away from the rig mode. So currently this is where we are in the rig mode. So I'm going to switch to record. Okay, now that we are in record, I can just press 1 based on the information available here, or I can press B for blink. Okay, and then I can come over here and press 1. Okay, so you can see the hand flipping, and then 2, you can see what is happening. You can press 3, you can press 4, even though nothing seems to happen. So I'm going to, since this hand is not well positioned, to bring it back to position, I'm going to press calibrate and hit. Okay, so that resolved that. So you can see by pressing 4, this is what we have. So I'm going to come down here and let's press 5. You can see this is happening around the eyes. And then we have 6. So the side mount is 6 or offset. And then you have the Q, the U, and then you have roof. You have these different triggers. So these are basically what you refer to as triggers. Now there is this behavior. Now there is this built-in action in Adobe Character Animator known as behaviors. So your character by default has about 8 behaviors. So that's the default behavior. So but then you can add more than 8. You can even add up to 20 as much as you want. Okay, so these are currently the behavior that this particular character has. So the body, the dragger, the IDs, and all this. So these are what you refer to as behaviors. Okay, so this behavior, you're going to be manipulating them here in your timeline. Okay, so this is basically your timeline. So if you want to add behavior, you'll have to go back to rig, and then you can come over here, click on this plus sign, and then you can see a ton of behaviors that you can actually add to your character. Okay, so these are basically some of the things you can do with this particular character. So you can take our time and explore these other templates that you have here. You can see this particular robot, this frog, and you can see a good number of other puppets that is made available to you by Adobe Character Animator. Okay, so that concludes our discussion on introduction to the Adobe Character Animator interface and tools. So I'll see you guys in the next video.